In order to start our discussion, we will be starting to discuss the risk of vaccination. We all know COVID-19 vaccines are not 100% safe, although there are chances getting serious side effects, but the chances are extremely rare and low. But it doesn't mean that's impossible to happen. There are also a group of people, when they get vaccination, they have to be careful, they have to take extra consideration, which are people like people with allergies, children, pregnancy, or even people with underlying medical condition. Since there is risk for it, it is reasonable to see people rejecting it. As what my colleague has mentioned just now by Miss Rachel and Miss Pei Sing, we know in Federal Constitution of Malaysia, liberty of person is protected under Article 5 sub 1, where we have to respect the Federal Constitution because it is supreme in Malaysia. Everyone's enjoy the freedom of choosing whether to get vaccination or not, and no employers can force their employees to get jabbed. However, in different scenarios involving job scope and working nature, there will be different outcome, where my colleague will discuss in detail later. As we go into our research, we found a real-life example describing the impact of not getting vaccination. Sadly, it happens in Malaysia. It is the Top Glove factory outbreak. Happens recently. In 4 factories, 5,000 foreign workers infected COVID-19 due to lack of knowledge regarding COVID-19 vaccines. 5,000 foreign workers. Listen carefully, 5,000 is definitely not a small number and it leads to a disaster. In order to avoid this issue, we found a legislation to help, which is known as the OSA, Occupational Safety and Health Act 1994. Under this act, it is the obligation of the employers to make sure there is a safe environment for employees. If the employees refuse to be vaccinated, the employers cannot forcibly force them to do it, but they can respect their decision and change their working position or even fire them in some exception circumstances. They can establish regulation that explain the risks of not getting vaccination by showing Top Glove factory case to them. And employees, of course, another side, employees can choose whether to take vaccination or not themselves. A forced vaccination policy may stipulate, but what can the employees do? We don't know right now. There is no current case law or current statute stating they cannot do it or they can do it. But there's a case ongoing in Malaysia which will be discussed later as well by Miss Ari and Miss Gan, mentioning employees can be fired reasonably for refusing vaccination or not.
Because the government has not made COVID-19 vaccination necessary, business cannot make it a blanket rule that all employees must be vaccinated. The only exception happens when the employer can prove that the unvaccinated employees posed a threat to the health and safety of others in the workplace, such as in the healthcare, F&B, education, child, senior care sectors. Due to the nature of the jobs, such workers are more likely to catch COVID-19 and transmit it to others. Therefore, vaccination would be legal and reasonable. Since the employers cannot force the employees to get vaccinated, but employers can play a very important role to encourage them to get vaccinated. For example, employees who receive COVID-19 vaccine appointments will receive a day of paid leave. In addition, leaders of the company should get vaccinated too, in order to be the role models in the company, as it is also more convincing if you are vaccinated and asking people to get jabbed. Next, employers can directly source the vaccine from the particular pharmaceutical company in order to cater different brands of vaccine for the employees, as many people might feel more confident in their preferred brands. So what action can the employers take to the unvaccinated employees? In order to protect the safety of other employees, employers can implement a set of rules where it requires employees to take mandatory COVID tests once every 2 working days, or even require them to wear double masks and a face shield. In conclusion, employers can leave the choice of vaccination to the employees. However, employers should not leave it entirely to them. Employers should do their part in encouraging employees to get vaccinated. In regards to the points stated above, employers can be quite harsh to the employees if they refuse to get vaccinated. But until now, there will be no rights for the employers to dismiss the employees even they are not willing to get their vaccination unless it is a high-risk industry. Now I will pass the mic to the next speaker regarding the termination issue if the employees refuse to take vaccination.